Boom, we're on. And we've got UFC start today, Paul Craig. Just want to say thanks for coming on, mate.
No, the pleasure's mine, man. It's a sweet ass setup you've got in here.
Thank you, mate.
And the podcast sponsored by Highland Spring, is that
Yes. Not
Highland
yet,
Spring?
but if you're wanting to, then
Hey.
we're in. First of all, congratulations on winning your last fight.
Cheers, man. It was a tough fight. 15 minutes. Well, it wasn't 15 minutes. It was 14 minutes and 50 seconds to get my balls kicked. All you need is 10 seconds to win a fight. I heard that chap, and I knew it was go, or it was the end of my UFC career. But after that, the UFC actually did email us and said, listen, after that performance, you were going to get a contract, so there was nothing to worry about. But even prior to that contract, you were going to get a contract. So they were giving me the contract no matter what. I don't know why, but they were going to give me the contract even if the worst case, I had lost that fight.
Were you nervous about it, not getting a contract renewed?
It's always going to be a worry because, you know, when you're living this dream, this is a dream I'm living. I'm going to be honest, man. Like the way I describe this is, for a long time you suck in the man's dick. You know, you go to work, you wake up at 9, you come home at 5, and you do everything that society tells you to do. See, the day I stopped sucking in that dick, it was beautiful, man. It was beautiful, and I got to go into the real world. I got to go into my own world, and I don't have to wake up at a normal time. I don't have to. When I'm getting at the big and saying, I don't mind hang. See, if Brian phones me, my coach, and says, Paul, move your ass and get to the gym. All right, I'm coming. but it's like, I want to continue living that dream. And I'm only going to put my body and my mind in jeopardy if I'm doing it at the top level. I see guys and they're out there and they're doing it and they're in their 30s, or their late 30s, and they're getting punched in the face, their body's taking a pounding, you know, dietary-wise, water loading, weight cut, all this kind of stuff. It's not great for the long term. So I'm only wanting to do it at the top level. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'll take second best and I'm going to take some damage. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in my legacy and what I can do for the rest of my life.
And you're on the right path for it. So is that a rolling contract? Is it a yearly contract? How do the UFC work?
So the UFC work is they offer you a full fight contract, but they can terminate that at any point. Like I've said this all the time. Like UFC's like the best way to describe it for anyone that doesn't know, UFC is like the pinnacle of all MMA dreams. It's like playing in the Champions League if you're a football player, playing in the Seven Nations, playing in all these like top organisations for any other sport. And for one of me, there's another 10 guys trying to do the exact same that I'm trying to do, trying to get into the UFC and trying to make a career of this. So the UFC don't need to hold anybody other than the top guys that they want, unless you're bringing the ability to fight, the ability to entertain, and the ability to have people like you or love you, because it's both. Even if people hate you, they still want you there. So the UFC could terminate that contract at any time, but 4 fights. What I'm looking to do with these next 4 fights is make a legitimate crack at the top 5. That's what I want. I was like 15 or 16 after my first fight. I lost my second fight in the UFC. First time I'd ever lost. Took it really, really bad. It's hard when you've never lost, and all people want to do is talk to you about that loss. How what happened? Tell me. And they're always asking you more and more information about this loss. Now, I lived that loss every night, man. I was lying in bed, you know, after I come back from Vegas, just lying, and this thing would just keep replaying. Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do this? Because it wasn't like I didn't have the skills to beat this guy. I had the skills. I just didn't utilise them on that day. And the best way I describe it is I put too much into my recipe. Like, chefs can make the same chicken soup. There's like loads of different chicken soups, and they all taste different. But what it is people put in a wee bit of this, a wee bit of that, make it their own. And we tried to do that with myself, and we added too much of one and not enough of the other. And when it came to the fight, my arm just went, nah, we're having none of this shit, man. You're the one talking shit, man. Your arms, my arms are like this. Come on. My head's telling my arms to punch, and my arms are saying, fuck off, man. We're full of lactic acid. We're out of here.
But did you think it made you stronger for your next fight?
The next one was a loss again.
Is it Hydro in it?
The Scottish Hydro, I know, and it made it even worse the fact that it was in my hometown. You know, it was the first time people had came and seen me, because everywhere else it was England, Ireland. These are where I was fighting as a early day amateur and early day pro, and this was the first chance, you know, to come home, and I felt amazing. I was like, oh, this feels great. But there needs to be this separation between family and MMA. There needs to be like this big divide for me. So I was like doing all the family stuff, you know, like putting the kids into bed, you know, reading them stories, having dinner with them, this leading up to the fight. That's no great for the head. What you're needing is you need to take yourself right out of that and put yourself with like-minded guys to get into fight zone. And the night before, obviously was there with my family, wasn't in the right mindset, came to fight night and I just was apprehensive. There's nothing other than that. Then you face your second loss. And the last thing I remember about that fight was taking a high kick. Took this high kick, boom, and just blackness. And that was me. I remember walking to the ambulance and I look at my coach and I said, Brian, where are we going? And he says, ambulance, mate. And then the next question I asked him was, did we win? And he says, I'll tell you in the ambulance. But my brain just wasn't taking in short-term memory. It wasn't storing anything. So he was telling me I was able to reply back and forward, but then it was just boom, disappearing. And I asked him again, Brian, where are we going? And he's like, hospital. Did I win? And he's like, no. We walked down a wee bit further and I said, Brian, and he's like, listen, mate, we're going to the hospital and you didn't win. Because he was obviously getting a bit annoyed. He's like, just, this is what happened. And I'm sitting in an ambulance and I'm like kind of looking about and he can see, like, I have no idea what the fuck's going on here. And he goes, you all right, mate? And I says, aye, where are we going? And he was like, hospital, and you didn't win, mate. So I just kept repeating this same thing over and over again. Went in, get all the scans. Obviously, the UFC look after you, make sure you're 100%. The last thing they want to do is put Andy's life at risk. So they looked after me, brain check, nothing up with it at all good, apart from this twitch I keep getting. Everything's good. So,
how does that affect your family? Because I know you've got 2 girls, 2 daughters.
You know, it affects them because they miss out on dad time. I'm not like the guy that goes to like right now what's happening is what do you call it, sports day. I'm not the type of guy that can go and race other dads, you know what I mean, who will get their beer bellies and their it's like the poor guys are up against, like they're looking down, they're thinking, I'm going to win this, and they scroll up and so he couldn't do that to the poor dads.
No top on, pair of tight shorts.
We doing this, dads? Aye, right, let's go. And there's me beating all the poor dads. So I don't do any of that kind of stuff. Very, very hard to get to, like, during the day kind of stuff because I'm in the gym. And then even at night, like parents' night, I missed my daughter's primary 7 parents' night. She goes to high school. Never ever missed any other, but due to training, had to miss it. And it's a horrible feeling to let your kids down. But what I do is when I make my win or when I get paid for the UFC, I make sure I treat them. And any chance I get, I'll spoil them. That's the only thing I can really do as a
But it's your life, it's your dedication. You're only going to get one crack at it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You don't want to live what if, because then you're full of regret and then you end up blaming your wins. Or you blame the people around about you. It was your fault, I had to sacrifice. You make the sacrifice, because I know after your last one in March, did you go to Disneyland with the kids?
No, this is, so we're organising Disneyland for next year. Like, my daughter's 11 and she's obviously knew I'd said this and she's like, Dad, are we going anywhere on holiday? And I'm so she obviously knows, right? My youngest isn't interested. She doesn't know anywhere we're going. She just wants to go on holiday. But the reason I want to do that is it's something that I can give them. And if it wasn't for the UFC, I wouldn't be able to do it. Normal Joe 95 doesn't go to Disneyland and spend 8-10 grand on a holiday. That's not what we do. The fact that I've got the UFC paying me a good wage, now I can do that and can treat my kids. And that's like me saying, listen guys, I know I'm not there all the time. When I'm there, I'll make sure I'll make it up to you, and this is what this is.
But that's the rewards for putting in the graft, because it's no easy, man. It's life or death. You're in that cage. You don't know if you're coming back out. When did it all start for you? When did the...
So I had grown up. We'll start way back then.
Right.
Like, I used to watch these kung fu movies, guys like Bruce Lee, Jean-Claude Van Damme, all these guys. I used to love all these films, and I was like, I could do that. And I had a big brother, his name's Barry, and we used to battle each other. He's like 4 years older than me, and he'd just absolutely wail on me, right? But he was still being like, you know that way, like a brother would hit you, but he wouldn't do it too hard, but it was still sore to you. And me and him just battled, and I honestly believe that's why I'm so good at jiu-jitsu, because I was defending his shots, and that's just like jiu-jitsu is for me. So that was like me growing up, you know, getting all these 80s films, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone, watching the Rockies, and I'd always this interest to do something, but it was never ever an option growing up in Airdrie. You know, it was like you play football and you play football and you play football, you play rugby, you play rugby. So I lifted weights, where I'd coached football, played football, had then went and started lifting weights, and there's something satisfying about lifting weights. It's like, you've got 100 kilograms, you either lift it or you don't lift it. There's no in between where like, I nearly had that, like, I nearly beat you. No, You either lift it or you don't lift it, and there was something satisfying about that. It just made you feel good. And even when you get that pump, when you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I feel good. I got to a point where I was like, I didn't know what I was doing because I was a young guy. I'd never ever done any research into lifting weights, and it was just basically what guys in the gym had told me. Oh, you want to do this? You want to do this exercise? You're working your chest. This is what you want to do. So I ended up with like really, really big chest muscles, and my back was nothing, and my legs were nothing. Like you know the type of guy. And it was just because the internet wasn't a thing where you could go in and say, right, I'm looking for this kind of workout. How can I sort this? And I used to have this like round into the back, man. I looked like Quasimodo, honestly. And I was about 123 or 25 kilograms, somewhere in that sort of bracket. My average weight was. And my friend invites me, says, why don't you come down? And he referred to it as the UFC chokes. We'll do the UFC chokes. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I go into this gym, and honestly, it's not much. It's not much to look at. It's like they coloured jigsaw mats, and there's all these guys just rolling about the floor of each other, and I just think that's fucking weird. Like, we grew up in a society where like human contact's like it's not a thing where you're like being that close to somebody. We don't do it, and it was a bit strange for me, a bit alien. But once I overcame that, once a guy's nutsack's been lying in your face,
kind of enjoy it after a while.
you're thinking, this isn't that bad. A guy's nutsack in your face. I'll never forget it. My coach Marcus Nardini, my jiu-jitsu coach, he was like drilling on me, and he was showing this move, but he obviously was sitting in this position. It was a Kimura, and he's like, "And you want to do this, man?" And his nutsack was just in my face, and I could feel the heat for his balls, man. And I was like, I can't look up, man. So it made me even awkward because I didn't want these sitting in my cheek. And so that was like my first sort of experience in jiu-jitsu. I then just started like competing in it and just going to different places. A lot of events down England. Just going to them and racking up as many wins as I could. And it was fun. It was something exciting. It was something new. Weightlifting doesn't have that where you're like competing against somebody else, where it's like the mistakes I make here have a massive impact, because even if you don't lose the match, make them down to points. And I love this, and I was always going in to learn how to do a new move, because I thought if I missed out on this move, if I missed out how to do an armbar, then I've missed it, and that will never be added into my arsenal again. Now I've just learned all the moves and progressing from being blue belt to purple belt, from purple belt to brown belt. It's about knowing how to control people, knowing how to use your weight, knowing how to like people say it's like a game of chess. Learn people, putting people into a position so that you can sub them and make them make a mistake. So that's what I'm doing now with jiu-jitsu, and I still love it to this day. It's like I'm never ever going to master jiu-jitsu, whereas lifting weights you can master it. I can lift a weight. So jiu-jitsu always had this like learning thing for me, and even after the day, come the time when MMA is done and I'm not doing it anymore, I need to go back to the martial art. The martial art what I learned is BJJ, and it's rewarding, very rewarding. If nobody's ever done it, I advise them to go. Don't go to any martial arts gym. Find a good reputable martial arts, even if it's no jiu-jitsu, if it's kung fu, whatever it is you want to do. Go for it, get a blast. And from that, my coach said, you fancy doing some kickboxing? And we only had like one boxing class a week, and we had a kickboxing class, and that's all we did. It was predominantly jiu-jitsu and a couple of MMA classes in between. We got an opportunity 6 months, 7 months into me doing this. We go down south and we're fighting against this guy called Gary Civilis. Cool name.
That's a right cool name, and that sounds like
And
Hitman.
I remember like seeing him, and he had this like, he had like a shaved head, but he'd like shaved like a spider web in it. And at that time, he probably thought he looked cool as hell. But he looked like a fucking gimp. Right? And he was obviously a bit older than me, and I'm in my early 20s at this point, and there was no apprehension. There was not like I'd never done this before, so there wasn't any pressure on me. I was just going to go in, do my thing, and get out. And I remember my friend from high school, he's been pals for years. And I remember walking up the stairs, and you kind of go into this tunnel vision mode where you can't see anything. And the only person I could see was him, and he was crying. I'm like, why the fuck are you crying? You're not going to fight, I am. And after he said, I was just so emotional. So I go in, literally a minute and 35 seconds, hit the guy with a Uchimata. He lands in side control, and I pop his shoulder and his elbow out of joint. And for there, I was like, this is easy, man. This is easy. And then I just kept fighting all these guys, and there was never ever any apprehension because I was still working as a teacher at this point. So it wasn't like this was going to be my career. It wasn't like, oh, I need this to work.
You found your path.
I was just like, this is a bit of passion. Let's just pursue this and see what it is. And people always mentioned to me, oh, you could go pretty far on this. There was also people saying, you're pish. And the only thing is you're a jiu-jitsu fighter, you're going to get found out soon enough, blah, 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 all this negative shit. I still get it to this day. Racked up a few wins as an amateur, decided to go pro, done the same, and just was hosing everybody. Fights were going to fights and people were pulling out on the day. I remember I went to the show. You know, some people build this up to be something that it's not. Like, we speak about nerves and excitement are both the same thing. Your body reacts the exact same way to both of them. It's how you use it. And I think nerves are a good thing because if you're nervous, it means you've got something riding on it. And I didn't have that at the start of my career. I didn't have any nerves because I had nothing riding on it. It was like, this is a bit of fun. If I lose, I'll lose. I'm still going to go in here and do this again. But it just happened to be no losses as an amateur, no losses as a pro. And there was a last minute replacement, and some guy pulled out and another guy, and I was fighting fit. And I said, I'll take that fight. So I'd taken this fight. It was on top, and it was the only time I was ever going to fight on top. And I go up, away in, do all my medicals, and the guy says to me, that guy's in there, he says, I have to keep the ambulance ready because he's going to put you to sleep. Literally an hour before the fight, the guy passes out and rattles his head off the ground.
You're joking.
Like, honestly, his heart rate and his blood pressure went through the roof because he'd been obviously hanging up. I'm going to fucking rattled his head, and he got carted home in an ambulance, and I'm like, I was like a co-main event.
Hyped yourself up.
I just like people because obviously this is a big thing to people, and especially like see if you're like this sort of big fish in your world, like you're the guy, you're the alpha male in that world that you live in, then you don't want to look like a pussy ultimately. And the guy just put too much pressure on himself, passed out, rattled his head off, and spent the night in the hospital. Hilarious.
When did you get the call? Who was it? Is it, if you spoke to Dana before, Dana White?
I've only spoke to him once. He sent me an email. It was, you get to a point where you work for something and then you realise, like, I'm not going to get it this year. And that's the way I was, like, sort of leading this. Yearly, what can I do in a year? I was rattling out, like, 4 or 5 fights in a year. Like, I remember there was about 4 months and I rattled a fight every single month just because I was like, the more wins I get, the more chance I've got to live in this dream. And it's not only me who's got this dream. This is, like, my coach, my teammates, all the guys round about me want the best for me. So it was like, we're working our asses off this year, and it got to the point, it was round about October, November, and I had a shitty few months, and I was like, we're not going to get the UFC again. Another year we don't get it. And that's the way I was looking at it. It was negative like that. Another year I'm not in the UFC. And I was annoyed at myself. And it was like November time. It was before my birthday. I was November the 20th, before November the 27th anyway. And I'm in the house shutting up shop for the night, and it's about maybe 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I got a phone call from my coach Brian, and I'm like, wait, something's happened, there's something not right. Are you alright, mate? Aye, what are you up to? And I was like, no, I'm just shutting up shop, what's happened? And he's like, what are you doing? I think it was like the 17th of December. He's like, what are you doing 17th of December? And I was like, and I just felt this massive surgery, like,
Aye, you know.
And I was like, did we get it? And he was like, aye. And he was like, you're finding a guy called Enrique de Silva. And I just, this massive bursty love, just, it was a weird feeling. I just felt like,
Who's a good fighter, by the way?
I know he was unbeaten at the point.
Aye.
He was unbeaten at the point, and he'd been on a bit of a tear up in the UFC, and it was a tough first fight. But I'd same again. My dream was to get to the UFC and win, and there was nobody going to stop me. Whoever they put in front of me was getting it, because I'd set myself this target. But I was still working at the point, working for Skillforce and Educational Charity. So I was still busting my ass at that and busting my ass in training. There was like, I was using the gym in the schools to help me get ready for this fight, which was crazy. Like, I'm going in here to like run 4 miles at lunchtime, missing out on lunch, finishing, doing my last 2 classes, heading straight to the gym. And I went into this world of nothing's going to stop me. And we got to go to Sacramento, and I'll never forget this. Like, I'm thinking, California, just before Christmas, fucking dancer, it's going to be roasting. pack all my shots, getting ready. Turns out Sacramento's in the fucking North America, like right up the top. It's freezing, it was wet, it was miserable. Not unlike Scotland during the winter. And no shots for me. I had to go out and buy some clothes. So what an experience, I got to meet people like Bruce Buffer. People in America know what the UFC is more. Like, it's obviously a huge sport in America. Like, these guys are paying for pay-per-views rather than... We're very, very lucky in the UK that we don't pay for that. It's all on BT Sports, or you can get it on Fight Pass. It doesn't matter. Guys in the US are paying for this and paying a lot of money to watch this. So I didn't realise how big this was until I'm walking outside and people are asking me, "Oh, can I get a picture, man?" And I'm just a normal guy for like weirdly, man. So people are getting pictures with me, and it always felt weird that people would ask for pictures with me. It's only recently that I've sort of like this. People like this. People like MMA, and I never ever realised that. So after fighting that, I just did this massive like. My sail was up and it was full of wind, man. And just hammering forward. But ultimately, I didn't actually reassess my goals. I just said, "Oh, I want to get to the UFC and I want to win."
And I done it.
And I done it in 2 rounds, and I was like, "Is this it?" And a lot of people won't think you get a wee bit down for that, but you do. Like, even achieving your dream, like, there's what else is for you.
Because once you achieve your dream, what happens is you go, "Is this it?" And you don't really feel fuck all, because you've built yourself up and worked to the goals so long, and once you achieve it, you go, "Is that it?" But for anybody watching, man, that's your prime example that you can achieve it, and you never gave up with your job, even though you worked with school kids and done charity works. I know you've been to Africa. You were out running at lunchtime. You still believed in yourself. You still went for it. Even that story yourselves, like a Rocky film, working in classes, working late at night, and then getting the phone call and having to jog at lunchtime, which is amazing.
I know, it all just happened so quick. And it was like living a dream. That's the best way I can say my life at the moment is like, it's like a dream. I've just only woken up. Probably what's happened is I've actually lying in the middle of the gym. Somebody's knocked me out, and I've not even made it to the UFC. This is like my first ever fight, and I'm just lying there. But it's like, I know it sounds cheesy and cliched, but you can achieve anything. Doesn't matter what you want to be. Like, if you put enough hours into what it is you want to do, then you can do anything you want.
Even if you're working, even if it's 2 hours before you go to sleep or 2 hours after you sleep, you can keep working on your dreams. And like you say, you've got your new contract, things are looking good, and you're going for, you want to go top 5 world title even. So I mean, who says you can't?
I know.
Who says you can't? Your record speaks for itself. 10-2 is some achievement, even though I know the 2 losses will probably fucking break your heart.
They do, and the thing that breaks my heart about them is, I believe, even now, that I could beat these guys. Different mindsets leading into these fights, and that last fight I thought was just this mindset of like, fuck it, what's the worst going to happen? That sort of Scottish mindset where you're like, fuck it, let's just fucking go for it, let's just do it. And that's exactly what it was, and I just put everything into that fight camp. We reversed everything back, so everything we'd done for the 2 fights I lost, we said, that didn't work. Why the fuck did we do that? Why did we change up our strength program, our conditioning program? I don't like running, so why the fuck was I out running? I hate it. There's no reason. If you don't like running and you're in any sort of sport, then don't do it.
What do you do for cardio?
Pads are enough. Pads. I do sprints. I do loads of kettlebells. I do loads of cardio, but it's not running. I don't need running.
Who do you want to fight next?
I've asked for a few fights, but the UFC are like, they're not hard. What the UFC don't want to do is they don't want to give you the fight you want, because if you want that fight, then it's not going to be a great fight for people to watch. What they want to do is they want to go, this guy's good and this guy's good. Let's fire the 2 of them together and let's see what we get. They've got their guys they want to promote and get to the top, but I'm not one of the guys, and the reason I know that is because the last guy I thought was an absolute stud, and they wanted him to beat me. That's the truth was, they wanted that guy to beat me, and they wanted him then to be a stud in the UFC. And I'm under no illusions that Magomedov Ankalaev will be a stud in the UFC, but the loss in his record is for me.
But that just shows you how good you are. Do you know what I mean? And you win in the last 10 seconds.
Aye.
The last 10 seconds of the fight, 15 minutes.
Like, it's one of these great stories, like you're lying there and you've got time moves in a different speed in there in Octagon. It's like slow motion and time isn't relevant. I've never ever noticed the clock anywhere. It's not like I'm looking up and saying, fuck, there's a clock. It's 3 minutes left, I better work. I'm just like, I couldn't tell you if a minute's passed or if 10 minutes has passed. And I remember just lying there, like, and he was trying to land these shots, and he bust inside of my nose, and the blood was just trickling down the back and filling up my mouth, and I was like swallowing it, and because there's nowhere else this blood can go, and the blood's just everywhere, the hole in my chin as well. And
fuck's sake.
but it's exciting. It's like, I wouldn't change it for the world. And he's just landing these punches, and I remember just thinking, you're an absolute pussy. Fucking do something. And he overcommitted with this punch, and that was it. I fired it in, and I knew, I heard the chopper, and just as I'd put the submission in, and I just said, I need to give everything to my legs here, and just willed every bit of energy I ever had in that body just to go to my legs and just squeezed, and he tapped, and I remember Mark Goddard slapped me in the forehead, the referee. If you watch the video back, he slaps me in the forehead, and I stand up and just emotion again, just kicking in, and I'm walking, and I just feel somebody attacking me for the back. I have no idea what's going on. I thought it was wee Russian cornerman who jumped the fence. He's like, fucking Pride of Russia, get this motherfucker, and was on my back. It turns out it was my teammate Chris Bunker, and he's swinging for me, but I had no energy in my legs. I had enough energy to get up and walk away. As of carrying another man's weight, was that buckled.
Is that your hardest fight?
No. My hardest fight was fighting headhunters in Portobello Town Hall as an amateur. It was a guy called Enrique de Silva. It wasn't Enrique de Silva, his name was Andy Ablett. He was a striker. And everybody at this point had been saying, Paul's just a jiu-jitsu guy, he's got no striking. And I hadn't said to him I was going to stand and strike with this guy for the full fight. And I did. I never took him down once because that's my easy get out. If I take you to the ground, there's a very, very high chance I'm going to sub you or I'm going to get in a really good position to drop shots. And I never took him down. I had the urge so many times to take him down, and he just kept. The first round, never forget it. I remember doing this wee shoulder roll, hit him in the face with my shoulder, so his chin moves into my lane of my punch, and I come over the top and socked him and bust his face open. And I was like, oh, this is good. I'm winning this fight. But he had a good corner, and he had a great heart, and it went back and forward. And I won that first round, and I came in the corner, and my corner team had forgot the stool. I was fucked at this point because I'd never been any sort of time. And they then wiped me. I was like, is that my blood? And he's like, no, it's his, it's fine. Clean me all up, come out for the second round, and I'm confident. He switches southpaw and just keeps blasting my left leg, and I couldn't catch him. I could not catch him. I was marching him down like a T-1000 in Terminator. I'm like, man, see if I can punch you, I'm putting you out. And he just kept bunk, kicking, moving. Comes into the third round, and Brian says, listen, you lost that round. You never done anything. I'm like, I know. And he's like, Paul, switch to southpaw, because he said, take him down. I says, I can't put any pressure on this leg, because my leg was killing me. You could see it was all welted up with bruises and blood rushing to the surface of the skin. And he's like, switch into southpaw and take him down. You need to take him down. You're going to lose this fight. We come back in, and then I can't catch him. The same thing. His corner just tell him, just kick and run. And I could hear him. And I remember his cornerman shouting, he doesn't like the kicks. And I was like, I do. And I'm just marching down. I'm like, man, see if I can just land on you. And every time I got close to land a punch, boom, and away he would go. And it was like seconds left in the clock. And I heard the corner saying, you've got a minute left. And I just started ranting him and stood in like this distance for punching and just threw these punches. Boom, boom, boom. And I remember hitting him, and his face was like just, like, it was turning into like one of these movies where his face was just distorting. And he was looking like the Elephant Man. And I remember just thinking, why the fuck's the referee not stopping this? And he was sliding along the cage like this. The blood was pissing everywhere. And the referee was there. And I'd spent all my energy, and I had like nothing left. And as he run round this side of me, the referee stopped it. He slides down the cage, and I fall next to him, and I'm like, ah. And Brian comes running, and he's like, get up, stand up, you just won the fight. And I'm like, I can't. So him in the corner and picked me up, and the two of them like sort of raised my hand. But that was like the hardest fight I've ever been in. Like, and that wasn't UFC. That was just me being
local
stubborn.
fight.
That was just me trying to be the man. Like, as we spoke about.
So you must love hurting people. Does that like, turn you on? Obviously, it must fucking get you wet, man. It must.
There is a point that like see to be the man. Like growing up as a young guy, like when you were in high school, primary school, anywhere you want, everybody always wanted to be the man, and I was never the man. I was never the coolest guy in school at all, man. I was never the best at football. I was never the best at doing anything. But then see now, I'm in a world where I'm certainly the best in Scotland, like without a shadow of a doubt. But with regards to being the best in the world, like I'm not there yet. I'm in the top. There's only maybe about 100 fighters So I'm doing pretty well with regards to that.
Do you think you're too hard on yourself? I know you fought in Vegas, you fucking sold with the hydro.
I know.
Do you forget that?
No, I need to be hard on myself because I think, see, if you get to a point where you're like, oh, I'm the man. If you're the man, then the only thing that can happen. But if you think about it in the world of monkeys, the top alpha male's always going to get taken off, and he's always going to get taken off. And if I believe I'm that guy, then somebody's just going to be like the young monkey.
You need progression. You don't think you're ever the
exactly.
best.
I'll be there the day. What I need to be, I'll be there that one day, and I'll be the alpha male.
What do you think of the new boy, Dan Till?
I think he's brilliant.
Liverpool.
I've trained with him. He is roughly my size, height wise and build wise, and he cuts down 2 weight classes below me.
Well, that'd be one of the best British fights in the UFC ever if you were to fight him, because he's 16-0. He's flying. He beat, who is it? He just beat their Wonderboy
Thompson.
Which was a close fight.
Only like, so as I said, he fights at welterweight. So you've got welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight. So there's a few of the weight classes below me. It's the same as like people say, oh, like this used to be like kids ask me, why don't you fight Conor McGregor? Like, because Conor McGregor weighs weighs like one of my legs. He's like 70 kilograms, or what is he like? 70 kilograms, and I fight at 93. There's a massive weight class, loads of weight classes in between that. So that's why we don't fight out our weight classes. But Dan Till could easily take 3 belts in this division. He is a proper savage.
Because his story is, he went to, I think he gets sent away to Brazil because he got stabbed twice, I think. And the story is, his coach says,
cool
look, you fuck off, man, or else you're finished. And he went away and learned to trade and come back.
Cool, isn't it, man?
I think that'd be a great fight for you too.
Think about that as a movie.
I know. But your story, the teacher kind of thing.
See, I don't like. I like. See, for me, I like to hear stories where a guy's struggling and made it. My story isn't like I didn't really struggle.
But running at lunchtime with your fucking work, man, it's pretty deep.
I know, but it's not as cool as like a guy who's down and out and just been stabbed, and he's like, yo, man, I got no money, man, and I just fought 10 guys, and they stole my wife, and my kids are dead. That's a movie. I'm copyrighting that. But with regards to mine, like, I woke up, I went to school, spoke to some kids, went a wee run, and then went to the gym.
But it's good because you've ever seen The Warrior.
It's pretty much like that.
Do you know what I mean? The teacher and that.
Maybe my brother will be like coughing up, like saying, yeah,
time to kick his ass again.
You wee prick, man, I need to sort this wee guy out. Come on.
What do you think of the Conor McGregor stuff now?
I think it's brilliant.
Think he's went off the rails a bit, but
you've got to think about this as this is entertainment as well as being able to fight in a second. It's like Barbados in here. So anyway,
it's fucking roasting.
With these lights, man, Jesus. So anyway,
it's roasting, man.
So the Conor McGregor factor, like, it's entertainment, and he's getting people to talk negatively, positively. People love it. People love any sort of, it's like EastEnders in the real world. Like a guy chucking a fucking pallet truck, a pallet trolley through a window.
It's a bit like wrestling kind of stuff, isn't it?
It is, it's exactly that. But it shows, like, he's obviously watched that growing up. I love wrestling, and I always have. I don't watch it anymore, but I like the sort of indie wrestling, ICW stuff they do in this the garage and that. It's brilliant. So that to me appeals to me, and it appeals to loads of people because that's why he's the number one. Everybody wants the money fight with McGregor, so I think
payday, innit? But Jink, I don't know, man. It's just everything's just. Jink will fight again.
I think he will.
Khabib.
I don't think it'll be. You never know. McGregor's he's the alpha male as we're speaking about, and if somebody challenges the alpha male, then he needs to be like, oh, I'm the fucking man.
But it kind of takes everything he's worked for and everything he's done, the law of attraction, the grinding, the getting to where he's been. He's kind of became unsure. Like you, if you go to Vegas, you kind of, shit, I've done it now. But because if you unsure, the universe becomes unsure, so you kind of get lost. It's like he's lost his path, but he's made 100 million in a fight, so he's obviously going to enjoy it. But
that path becomes easy to walk on, that 100 million path. See, when you've got the money.
What if you've got to fight for anymore? Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Do you think he's lost his passion then?
I don't know, like... The only person that can tell you that is him. And he's never ever going to say, no, I've lost the passion for fighting. I think he's gained the passion for money and that lifestyle. And I think that has a massive impact in what he wants to do in the sport. He wants to become a promoter. There's no way he wants to fight. He's like, I can make more money having people fighting for me than actually fighting myself. And his whole thing is, he knows how to sell. He knows how to sell fights.
How long were you in the teacher for as well?
I had been teaching for 7.5 years. Like, it was brilliant, honestly. It's one of the most rewarding things ever. And same again, sounds cheesy, but you're dealing with young guys, and I didn't know what I wanted to be in high school. I fucking hated high school. High school's a horrible place. Like, unless you're, it's like the American movies, unless you're the man, as we spoke about again, like, school's no great for you. School's hard. It's like, I was never great at English, I was never great at maths. The thing I enjoyed was sport. I enjoyed PE, I enjoyed using my hands. Like, yeah, see, even in school, man, I was a number one runner. Like, I did not fight because there was no need to fight because I was shite at it. See, about people that are probably watching this saying, I kicked his fucking ass. I kicked his ass.
No anymore.
Aye, let's meet at the Catherine Park, you can. But no, like it's one of these things. Like, I remember walking home one night and something I'd said like 3 weeks before that had resulted in me going into the fetal position. Yeah, the classic. Cover the head, and a guy just started wailing on me. There's fuck all I could do. I grew up in an area called Craignook, and I remember I was walking home from my friend's bit one night. I had a skateboard in my hand, and a guy came round at a house and just banjoed me for no reason other than the fact that I was a big tall guy. Because people like to put, like, see if you're an average size guy, you want to beat the big guy. Everybody wants to, like, fucking pussy.
Wee man syndrome.
Aye, so I get my nose broke for absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing, man. And I'll never forget it. The blood was just pissing out my nose. I remember going into my mum and my dad went half his nut and he jumped in the car and he said, I'm going to fucking find this wee fucker. Couldn't find him. But it's what made me. Like, I was never ever the guy who was...
Do you think that changed you into trying to learn how to protect yourself?
No, I never ever wanted to fling a punch. It was something I wanted to, in my fairy tale world where I was watching these movies, I wanted to be this Malin main guy. Like, you know, when people watch films, like, and people are like, I'm the main guy. Like, everybody that watches the film and says, I'm the main guy in my film. Are you fuck the main guy in the film? You're the guy that's walking back. You're in the background, mate. You're not doing anything in your film. And that was in my dream. But in reality, I was just another guy. People who know who I am for high school now is what I've done now. If it was like one of these things where I never ever done any MMA, I would just be like, oh, remember that big Paul? That was all it'd be.
Do you get a lot of jealousy, hatred? Because UFC, there's only a couple of UFC Scottish people in the UFC. Is we Joe Calderwood still in the UFC?
I think she is, yep.
She's not
so
a while.
There's me, Joe, Stevie Ray, and Danny Henry.
So it's 4 people. In the grip house with wee guy Sean Wright, who's an absolute beast.
Aye, they've got the grip house. Have got some absolute.
He was in the contender. I met Joanne and you wouldn't think.
So soft spoken.
So, exactly, and she's an absolute.
And then she just turns it on and she's like, "He want an elbow to the face."
So has everybody try to be your pal and there's Big Paul and kid on the motor? Yeah,
they're always going to get that. The best one is, remember we went to school together. Fuck up. We did not go to school together. We happened to be in school at the same time. There wasn't any time where me and you were standing next to each other in school. And it's always going to be the same.
But if you're number one in Scotland, you're going to get hatred, you're going to get jealousy. How do you deal with that?
Seeing amount of people, I think it's hilarious. Like, so after my fight, or before my fight, we'll go. So I'm fighting a Russian, and he's the man in Russia. I didn't realise how much of a man he was. I remember standing in the back. It was me and Brian. And we're standing, and they do this sort of wee VT thing before they announce the fighter. He stands at fucking 6 feet 4 inches tall. He weighs this, and they start rhyming off this shit the guy's done. And I'm thinking, and I look at Brian like, the fuck? And he knows, because you know when you spend so much time with somebody, and he looks at me and goes, it's fine, just focus. And I remember after I said to him, I said, Brian, did you know this shit? And he was like, aye. And I was like, what did you not tell me for? And he was like, you didn't need to know that. And I was like, I kind of did need to know that shit. But Brian does everything for the right reason. He knew I didn't need
to know. For mental reasons as well as physically.
I think, see, if you build something up in your head and you make it unachievable, like some people do, then it's hard to overcome it.
I think that's what the majority of people do. They build stuff up and they create the fear that they can't do this
and then they can't step outside that because the grass, they believe, isn't always green on the other side. It's easy for us to sit here and say, oh, just do this. Just fucking let your weeds eat beans for the rest of their life and just take the chance and let the woman fuck you out. Like us living the dream, it seems easy sitting at this side, but for people watching, they might think that they put all these barriers up and make it unachievable.
But you can't achieve anything, man, and that's what so many people go wrong. I speak about it on this podcast all the time. Anything is doable, anything is achievable. For you being world champion in the next 2 or 3 years, it's doable. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I'm listening and your story is class for what you have came for, and for fighting at Vegas and the Hydro. Sometimes you don't give yourself enough credit, but I understand what you're saying. to go, fuck it, it's done as well. What's the next goals? Where do I fight next? You could fucking sell out Hampden or Murrayfield. Who says you can't have an ultimate fight in Scotland?
That's exactly what I'm looking for. I've always wanted to bring like a show only for me. Like Dan Tell just recently done it, and the place was packed. The place was electric. See, if you'd have lost, man, there would have been riots in that place. Just all these crazy Liverpool folk would just burn the place down. Honestly, like they lost in the Champions League, and they're like, we can't take two. Let's fucking tear the city down. But see the amount of Scottish folk that were down at that show. It was incredible.
Scottish love the fighting, but
I know.
they love fighting.
It's in our blood.
And there's not really many boxers we've got, and we've not really got many fighters. Only you that's flying the flag.
There's guys, but it's how they're managed. People, there's great fighters out there, and it's what opportunities they get, because opportunities are hard to come by if you're a bit smaller. And I don't mean to sound like, because I'm so big, but the heavier weight classes find it easier. It's the same as if you're a heavyweight boxer, you find it easier than the light guys. The light guys, there's fucking millions of them. And it's the same getting into UFC. If you're heavier, you get more chance of getting in because there's not many heavier weights. And people want to see two big dudes just slogging into each other's faces.
What do you think about the like Dan talks, he missed weight again? And that's 6 people who've missed weight in the UFC have won their fights, but they're saying it's a sense of cheating now instead of the steroids.
It is. So what they're doing is they've just changed their weigh-ins. So they're now stopped at 8 o'clock, or I think it was before 9 o'clock weigh-ins. And they've now moved them to 4 p.m. what they used to be. What it means is there's going to be people who've got longer to cut weight, so they've got more chances of making it. But what you're going to also have is people doing stupid cuts to try and get to lower weight classes. I've got more time, because that's what some people look at that as. They'll say, oh, well, that's for like 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock. I can lose even more weight, so I'll move down a weight class. So I'll do a harder cut.
What's because some people lose like 5-6 pounds, don't they, in a day? Why don't they cut 2 weeks in advance and get to that weight, and then they can balance it out? Because I know they drop weight, but you can put on an extra, half a stone after as well.
What Wonderboy done was Wonderboy put a limit to what Dan Till could blow up to. Because as I said, Dan Till walks about at my weight. He walks about at the 100 kilograms.
I think he struggles to cut, doesn't he?
So if he cuts and he's only there for a few hours, say he's there for like 2 hours, nails it and then shoots all the way back up, you're fighting against another opponent. You're fighting against a heavier opponent. And in our sport, any sort of advantage helps. Whether if you're better at jiu-jitsu, if you're taking steroids, if you're a heavier weight class, everybody wants that edge over you. And this is what this comes down to. So they're trying to make these crazier cuts to get to that weight class.
How big an edge is £3, £4 on someone?
Mentally, massive.
Is it?
Aye. You think about it, this guy's heavier than me. You think about it for high school. Think about it for high school.
He's bigger than me.
I can't do anything. I couldn't do anything to him. He's bigger than me, heavier than me.
Because I know Dan took 30% his purse away, but they kept him at 88. So if he was at 88, he couldn't put it, no one had to come in at 88 again.
So he had to make weight twice, which is a massive thing to do as well. Making weight's hard enough, never mind making weight for another weight.
Do you struggle to make weight?
No,
light heavyweight?
The way the weight classes work is there's a massive jump between middle and light heavyweight. So it's like 185 pounds, and then it's 205 pounds. So you can see the massive. No, sorry, that's wrong. I'm talking absolute. So I do it in kilograms. So it's 80 kilograms to 95, 93. So there's a huge gap there. I could fit somewhere in between that and make a proper cut. As I sit now, I fight at 93 and I walk about at 103. So I've got 10 kilograms to lose, which isn't that much when you consider there's people who can cut 10 kilograms in a day with water loading and reducing their calories and all that kind of stuff. There's an absolute science to this, and Chris Bungard knows that science. My teammate, he is incredible at doing weight cuts.
But it can mentally drain you, it mentally fucks you people. Because I watched a documentary with a guy who was trying to weight cut for the week, and he kept sitting in the saunas, and he was in the bike in the sauna, and that's got to fuck you up. He's sitting with a bike in the sauna, pedaling away for 2 hours.
Some people use that as aggression, like see you build up, like fucking make me cut.
How's that affect your family, that cutting, or trying to get you away?
See, because I don't have to cut, and I usually take myself away from them, but I do get a bit snappy. Like, see shit that when they bother you before, you'll snap at it. Like, maybe the kids will jump about, and they don't realise what I'm cutting weight, and I'm like, enough. Whereas it didn't bother me in the past, but when you're reducing your calories, when you're hitting salt baths, when you're saunaing, it becomes a bit harder, and your temper, you're shorter because you're like, you feel like shit.
But you seem awful calm, you seem calm, collective, and you'll see that with people who can handle themselves, like in the grip house, and you see all these people who can fight. They don't say boo to anybody.
No.
They're placid. They don't need to walk about and pretend. You get into a pub and you'll see 10 arseholes bouncing about, singing Celtic Rangers songs, trying to smash glasses and fight with each other, and none of them can fight.
You're saying this, I get knocked out in my local nightclub.
You're joking.
I was standing having a beer, and I remember taking a drink, and I remember just darkness.
When was this?
Gung, I hit the deck, and I was like, what the fuck?
When was this?
Listen, this is how funny it is. I was fighting on a show called FFC, and it's like, we would class it as our like home show. It's like our Scottish Hit Squad's local show. It's close to us. We would normally have the main events. Most of our fighters would be fighting on it, and it's usually in Motherwell, and then we go from Motherwell to Coatbridge, and that's where they would have the nightclub, VIP, all this kind of thing, make you feel like I'm Belly Big Boss. I remember drinking this beer. I remember just blackness, and
fucking joking.
Guy just knocked me out. It's hilarious.
Somebody's claim to fame. They would talk about Billy Big Boss.
I was pissed. I just won my fight. I'd literally just won a fight and won a belt, and darkness took me.
How does UFC treat you? How are they treating you? Because I know a lot of people moan about it, and
they do. Listen, people moan about they're like, oh, I can't get sponsors because of UFC and the Reebok deal. I think the Reebok deal's great. Like, for me to go out, that means I need to go out and I need to pester people for money. Can I get money? Can I get money? Can I get money? And I never ever done that. I never ever wanted to be that guy where it's like, I need handouts. Give me handouts so I can live my dream. I need a handout so I can live my dream. That's, to me, sounds a bit mental. Whereas UFC are like, no, there's some money and there's some gear. I don't wear any of the gear, but leading into fight week, I need to wear it. When my dad jumps about like, best of Reebok.
As if he's sponsored it.
One of the funny stories, the very first time I ever fought in the UFC, they gave me these like Reebok pumps, and they had like a wee pump at the side of them, and you pump your shoes up so it would snug in your foot. And they were like electric blue and electric green. You might have seen the colour of these fucking things. Man, there's nobody in their right mind who do them. And I'm probably just going to get sacked off the UFC for stuff. And I remember I was in California and I went downstairs and I had the Reeboks on because I've got to wear Reebok leading into fight week. And Sage Northcup something was like, hey man, I see you got the cool Reeboks on. And I'm like, the fuck? You're too perky. And he's like, and he's all excited. He's like, have you pumped them up? I'm like, aye, man. Nice meeting you. And I remember growing up, I said to Brian, I was like, Brian, that guy's fucking mental. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, that wee guy with the spike, and he's like, Sage. And I was like, aye, super positive. Have you pumped them up? And I gave it to my dad. My dad's like, they're fucking hideous. Like, even if my dad's getting free shoes, like, they're fucking hideous.
How's the Americans and that been with you? How is it in Vegas, sorry? How's it in Vegas, first of all?
First, we'll go Americans. Americans are brilliant. The Americans love Scotland. They love Scotland. And they can't say my name right. They call it Paul Craig. And I remember watching South Park, and I thought the guy was called Craig. His name's actually just Craig. These motherfuckers can't say his name. So Americans love the whole Bear Jew thing. They love the fact that I'm this big bearded guy. And I do
love you come in with the face paint, the kilts, and because they fucking love Braveheart and all that, they Outlander, all these Scottish shows.
So they embrace us so much. It's cool. Vegas is a horrible place. I'm going to be honest. Horrible. Fight week in Vegas, surrounded by gambling, women, drugs, alcohol.
Sounds like my kind of
but that's exactly like see for like a normal holiday where the lads are going with your missus and going and experiencing all this kind of stuff. Brilliant. See when you're on fight week and you're like, man, this is fucking horrible. And you get people smoking, like, because they still jump about in casinos smoking, and you're like, what the fuck? And pubs, exactly the same. Like, I couldn't believe this. I'm like, I forgot people smoked in buildings.
It's not really a place you can relax. It is a place. It's like an uptown version of Blackpool.
Aye, it's like Blackpool on steroids. It's just, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. The people were great because people, same again, it's the fight capital, and they want to come up to you and they want to take pictures with you. And as I said, it's always weird to me. Seeing somebody, I'm walking down Glasgow Main Street, like Buchanan Street, somebody shouting, Bear Jew! Like, even now I'm like, that's pretty cool, man. Like, people know who I am. I remember walking down with my daughter, and this guy shouts, oh, Bear Jew! I love you, man. Typical Scottish guy. And my daughter had a red neck. And I'm like, what
You get
She's
embarrassed.
Like, it's like, just that guy shouting your name. And I was like, it's a good thing.
That is a good thing, man, and you do get a lot of love and respect for Scotland because fighting in the UFC is massive, and UFC is kind of becoming borderline with boxing now,
I know.
which they never thought would happen.
No.
Do you think it's a lonely journey as well for yourself when you go through camps and...
So the best way to describe it is, if I win, the team win, everybody feels happy. When I lose myself. Because although I'm Brian's fighter, Brian won't have the same feelings that I have after losing. Brian obviously feels bad for it, and everybody in the gym feels bad for it, but the next day they wake up and they're fine. They're like, oh, fucking lost, man. Bugger. Whereas when I lose, I'm like, oh, shit, man. And let's be honest, depression does set in. Even after that win, as I was saying, man, it's horrible. Like, you're there yourself. Like, you're sitting there yourself and you're like, everybody's away to work, and you're like, right, I've got a week and a half off training. What do I do? Because all I know is training. There's nothing else I know in life apart from training at the moment. I don't go out drinking with my pals. I don't go and do any other sports. Very rarely I get to do this kind of thing, play charity football matches, charity golf days. All these kind of things are brilliant, but with regards to anything else, everybody's away to work and I'm just sitting in the house like, let's see what's on Jeremy Kyle. Make myself feel a little bit better, these motherfuckers.
No, it does, but I think that's where a lot of depression and suicide kicks in, because a lot of people, when they do stuff, they realise, you see a lot of actors, a lot of fucking musicians, when they do it on their own stage, they feel great, because it's a sense of importance, but then that goes away, that buzzes away, and they're like, whoa, my life's not good enough, it's inadequate, so that's where they end up taking their life. So it's
massaging your ego. When you're in the public eye, massages the ego and you feel good and you're like, oh, the warm fuzzy feeling inside. When you're there and you're like, what do we do? What do we do?
That is, it can go very sharply. So what do you do to balance that out?
So after the last 2 losses, one of the things I've done was get a dog to keep me company.
What kind of dog?
I got a golden noodle. It's a golden retriever and poodle.
Is that?
So we didn't expect it to be this big, but he's a big, massive dog, right? And he took me out the game yesterday. It was Monday. Monday I was down at my mate's and I'd let him out the car and he was running about and I was having a wee play with him. And I was trying to chase him, and he just ran past me and caught my leg and just sweeped me right away. So that keeps me company. I get to take him a walk and do that kind of stuff, so I don't need to worry about being on my own. When we sorted out our training, because what we were doing training-wise is we were training at 6 a.m. in the morning, and then everybody was going to work, and I was sitting there right the way up to 6 o'clock myself, doing nothing. So we changed it and made it 11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock every day, I'll be in training, and then we usually go out and have coffee, spend too much money in Starbucks, all this kind of stuff. And it's more social now, rather than when I first done it, I was in the world of my own.
You've got to kind of try and keep busy. See, after you lost, have you ever thought about quitting as well? That last fight must have been a lot of pressure, because if you lost that, would have still been...
Yep.
Would you have got a new contract, do you think?
So they said they were going to give me a new contract, but you never know about these things. So with regards to that, I wasn't going to fight, and as I said to you, I wasn't going to fight for any less than the UFC. You set yourself goals, and the last thing you want to be doing is changing the goalposts for you, making the goals easier to achieve. So I wanted to fight in the UFC. Now, I know for a fact if I was chasing money, the day after the UFC, the amount of offers I get in for Russia to fight, I got an offer to fight Fedor Emelianenko's brother, and it was for £1 million. So if I want to make money, I can make money.
Sick.
I could go to Japan and fight fucking fight every other month and make money. I don't want to make money. I don't want to. The last thing I want to do is put my mind and body in jeopardy. I'm 30. I've got 2 kids. The last thing I want to be doing is sitting in a chair in the house, pure sleb and myself. Did you go to the shops and get the breed?
I know.
The last thing I want to do.
What you're doing in that cage, it can fucking happen. It can happen.
Listen, they're very, very so. One second.
Are they throwing away? Sorry to interrupt. Are they throwing away money then? Japan and Russia's, and is that all the big? See, your top end players here, like your Ibrahimovic, maybe go to America, South Korea. Is that what they're doing now as well?
Yep. They've always been like this. Japanese have always had these great shows. The only downside for them is with regards to testing. Testing's not that great. So whereas I'm getting USADA tested, and USADA can turn up I have to put in where I am. So USADA could literally turn up here and say, big fella, drop the pants, and you're getting a sample of piss, and they check you. Whereas in these promotions, they don't really test.
So people are fucking jacked up full of steroids.
So go and look at, for instance, there's fighters in the UFC and just type in pre and post USADA and you'll see body shapes changing. You'll be like, fucking hell.
But what about your top heavyweights in the UFC who are clearly on steroids? What's the wrestler's name?
Brock Lesnar.
Aye.
Well, he
Brock Lesnar.
popped for steroids. He got popped for steroids. Aye.
But he let him back, didn't he? He's a money maker, but for them, isn't he?
He's the cash county, so like you can't have rules for one and rules for another. And I don't think it was the UFC that made that mistake. I think what had happened was they test you the day of the fight, and then it comes back positive. Or I don't know what it was positive for, but whatever it was, it didn't get a massive sanction. But cheating's cheating to me. If you're taking all the gear or you're taking a wee bit of the gear, you're still cheating.
Cheating, aye.
Cheating's cheating. It doesn't matter.
What is it? They blame meat and steak and fucking...
Meat. Somebody blamed the boar. The boar had they had some sort of growth in this boar. It's just crazy, man. Like, just fucking know what you're eating. Like, I know everything I put into my body because I know come the day if I fail a USADA test, I know it's what I've done. I know what I've put into it. And these guys get flagged up in USADA, and they know, they're like, I know exactly what I did. I know exactly.
It's scary, but if you get serious thought, how much is an advantage is it? But to take steroids, does that not slow you down or weaken you?
Well, it's recovery. It's not so much about how much muscle you can put on. It's how much you can recover. If I can put in an absolute belter of a shift tonight, nail 3 hours, feel great, and push myself 100%, then my body's going to get better. I'm going to be able to go faster, go longer, be stronger, take in more knowledge, and then the next day get up and do it all again. So it's not about how much muscle I can put on, it's about how well I can recover. So they're only trying to do is recover. There's days I wake up and my body's absolutely shot. I can barely walk. Like, my body is saying to me, "Name it, big man, we need a day off."
How long do you think you've got left on the top of your game?
I want to stop before I'm 35.
So 5 years?
I don't want to be doing this as an old man. I don't want to be like, oh, and there's Paul, he's grey beard and grey hair, like, fucking bifocals on
like the guy who was in, what was that film, the two bouncers, Patrick Swayze and fucking...
Oh, Roadhouse,
the guy with the grey beard. Remember him? They all kind of could fight, man.
He's brilliant. Dalton.
Roadhouse, man, that's not a classic.
You know they were making a remake of that with Ronda Rousey, and they say, nah, we'll leave this.
That's too much of a classic to be fucking about with.
Like, to make it, like, I'm no sexist, I'm going to take some shit for this, but to make it Ronda Rousey, a female bouncer, to kick fuck all the guys.
Turns you on, everybody was sitting with stoners watching people fighting.
They get shot at that one, but hey, that's the dream, making movies. That's what I want to do.
But for 5 years, and you've got that X factor, you've got that star quality, because there's no many celebrities in Scotland, and it's a shite word to use because you're very talented, but you've got that X factor now where these doors open, gangster films, Scottish films, I don't know.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
You know, see, jokingly, years and years ago, they were like, what do you want to do? And I said, I'd love to be James Bond. I love James Bond, but I know I'm too big and I'm too hairy and I've not got a cracking head of hair. I could be a James Bond villain. Like, I could easily be like the guy in the background, arms folded, just looking badass. I'd love to do that kind of thing, get into films, get into TV. I love talking, but the only thing I need to worry about is saying the F word. Like, I'm like, so the guy was fucking, doing that fucking, the guy's like, right, just put this guy right off the telly right now.
Now I thought about doing podcasts and that as well.
I did a podcast, but it takes up too much time. Like, see, coming in and doing it like this, jump in, I speak to you. I love speaking, man. But it takes up too much time if I'm the guy who, I was editing it, I was doing all the filming, I was doing all the sound, I was doing everything, because I wanted it to be mine. Because
a lot of people fear the UFC are jumping on the podcast as well. The big English guy is retired there. What's your name? Big English guy, oh shit.
I'm trying to think myself.
The awful man, his older guy just retired there last year. Fuck it, I forgot.
Aye, somebody will be mentioning fucking...
Bastard,
I know. One Punch, one Picket.
Yes. Bisping.
Is Bisping?
Yes, he's doing it as well.
There is loads of podcasts, and as long as you're able to talk, as long as you're able to string a sentence together, people are interested in listening. It doesn't matter what you're talking about, and that's why, like, this is it's a massive movement in this world with regards to, like, radio's dying, let's be honest. People are interested in what they're listening to music-wise. People are putting on podcasts and actually listening to guys talk absolute whoppers.
Because it's worldwide, it's not just a selection of Glasgow or whatever, you can talk worldwide. What's the plans for the future? What's your goals then? What's the next steps for you? Next fight? When is it coming? Stuff like that?
We asked for a few fights. I would like to fight in Russia. Because remember, it's all about experiences. And people... Everyday Joe Public doesn't get to go to Russia. Everyday Joe Public doesn't get to go and experience Moscow as a fighter. So that for me is like, and even Vegas, I got to experience Vegas as a fighter rather than a punter. I got to go backstage, all these kind of things, and do some cool stuff. Go to basketball matches as Paul Craig for the UFC. So that kind of stuff I like, and it's more about experiences than.
So travelling the world.
Aye, so I would like to go to Russia. You know, there's places coming up like Vegas is coming up, New York. I'll go into any of these shows, but you put your name in and say, listen, I'm ready. Give me a fight. And the UFC said, this is when you're fighting. This is who you're fighting. As I said, the UFC like to put two guys who are very, very evenly skilled, because obviously they're entertainment. They don't want to see a guy coming in and absolutely murk somebody.
Ranked 1 and 20.
Aye, and then he's just in there and he's just bang, 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 bang. So they try and keep it as like competitive as possible. Because what the UFC is, the UFC love an underdog winning. Like the UFC absolutely love the fact that I won, and for that they gave me the bonus. Dana White sends me an email saying, listen, I've been in the UFC for so many years and I've never seen anything like this before in my life. I don't know what to say.
What is the bonus for a knockout?
So they done away with it. Used to be knockout of the night, submission of the night, and performance of the night. They done away with calling them that, and it was just fight of the night, performance of the night, and you can win as many of them as you want.
That's brilliant, isn't it? Because I know you get fight of the night as well. You've won that a few times, haven't you?
I've won it twice, so 2 wins, 2 fight of the nights, which is brilliant, man, because it lines the pockets and it means I can live this dream and not have to suck in that man's dick again.
Somebody's like that, but
just get on the knees and fucking fill up the gum.
Every fucking time.
Paul, but it's been an absolute pleasure. I've thoroughly enjoyed your company, mate, and thoroughly enjoyed coming on. And I wish you all the best for the future, mate.
Thanks very much, dude, man. Cheers for having me.
Thank you, brother.
Me, dude.
We're off. Sucking on that dick, Steph, aren't you?